Hello. Hello, hello.
Yo, how's it going?
Hello, Gary.
You well?
How are you?
Good, good. You?
Good, thanks.
Can you see me
How's
okay?
everything going? I can. I'm just figuring out how to. Yeah, should be okay.
Excellent.
So exciting. How's everything going down in your area?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. The cafes and stuff are open now, so it's a little bit better. How about your area?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Cafes are starting to open up again. People are still, keeping the distance and everything, but
Yeah.
supermarkets are full though, I've noticed.
Sorry?
Supermarkets are full.
Oh, supermarkets are full. Yeah, I know that. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Oh, look at that.
Are you trying out a filter?
Filters, trying to see what makes it look the best. I like that one.
How do you do that?
You can
How do
like
you do
do
the
it.
the filter's below,
Do
isn't
it.
it? Let me
Yeah, it's
try.
quite cool.
It's hilarious.
Quite good.
Wow. Have you ever done a live before?
Yeah, I have done a live before, but I did it with like a Indonesian fan club for my football team, which was really cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like so random, but it was really good.
Great, great.
Yeah. We got
Okay.
some people joining
So
though, two people.
trying this out.
You said you
So
can say it.
whereabouts are you in Sydney at the moment? Where are you
So
living?
I'm right next to Broadway, so it's like right in the
Oh, okay.
center. It's like right in the center of Sydney. So we're like around maybe a 3 or 4 minute walk from Sydney University.
Amazing.
Yeah,
And have you seen that there's more people around now? Like people are starting to go out a bit more?
yeah. We went out this morning for a coffee, and it was the first time they asked us if we wanted to stay inside and have the meal. So yeah, it's nice.
Oh, nice.
We could only just get a table, you know. Apparently, like everywhere's booked out already. So
Oh, so
it's
you have to book now to go like
yeah,
to restaurant or...
yeah. Apparently, like you need to be on like a big waiting list to get a table anywhere now. It's pretty crazy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hi,
So
Sean. It's my cousin joining.
hi.
This is this is Garry Dawson. Welcome, Garry Dawson. How are you
Hi.
today? Good.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Just chilling, relax. It's freezing though. It's so cold in Sydney.
It is. It is. So I've come up with this idea because I've been thinking over the last few weeks, how isolation has really changed our lifestyle.
Yeah.
So I've been thinking about talking to people from different backgrounds and
Yeah.
life stories to see how they're coping with lockdown and with isolation because it's such a crazy time and it's been such a crazy time
Yeah.
for
Definitely.
everyone, really.
Definitely.
So,
Yeah. No, it's a great idea.
yeah.
It's a great idea. Definitely. I hope I'll
Oh,
give you an
thanks.
interesting interview.
Sorry?
I said, I hope I'll give you an interesting interview. We'll see.
It'll be fantastic. Okay. So welcome everybody. Oh, ciao Giorgio. This is a friend of mine in Italy. Hi,
Who's
Carlos. Hi. So welcome to the first episode of A Conversation in Isolation. I'd like to start with asking Gary about you. So who are you, Garry Dawson?
all right.
What's your
So
story?
obviously, my name is Gary, and I'm from the northeast of England, in the UK. And yeah, I've been living abroad for 5 years now. So I lived in China for just over 2 years, and then I've been living in Sydney for almost 3 years. So yeah, that's kind of me. I'm an English teacher. I'm 28, and that's my life. I love football, love hanging out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's me.
What's your What's your favorite team?
Oh, Newcastle, all the way. It should be everybody's
Oh,
favorite
okay.
team. Yeah, I don't know who's saying red. I don't know who this Andrea Malogio is,
Oh,
but
ciao
red,
Andrea. One of my
black,
ex-students in Rome. Come stai?
black and white for the red.
So you to Australia? So you've lived in China and different countries.
Yeah, well,
What brought you to?
my girlfriend was coming here for university, and I was living in China, and she was living in Australia, and well, we met in Bali once, and we thought, no, this is not going to work, so I had to move
Yeah,
here. So I came here, and yeah, loved it. So we're here now, and
great.
it's going, and I like working as a teacher here, so it's been really good. Really enjoyed our life
That's
here.
You're nearly an Aussie, mate.
Well, I'm trying. I'm trying not to pick up the accent, but whenever I go back to the UK, they're always like, "Oh, why is your accent so weird now?" But I think
Yeah,
I'm not picking up your accent yet. Not yet. I once said, "How are you going?" And I just felt horrible inside because it felt so natural. But in England, we say, "How you doing?" So, yeah, it was
how
really
you
weird.
doing? Yeah,
How you doing?
that's right. Yeah. So we in Australia, like all over the world, it's been different. But in Australia, we've been in isolation now for 8 weeks.
Mhm.
This is the 8th week, I think, and obviously restrictions are starting to loosen up,
Mhm.
and things should go back to normal soon. But what kind of changes have you been through in these last 2 months? Obviously, we've all started working online. We've been teaching online, and that's been a big change already.
Yeah.
And how did you react when this first came out a few months ago, and you heard the news that COVID was happening and we were going to go into lockdown? What was your initial reaction? Let's say.
Well, at the start, like I always try and make light of things, so I'll never really believe it's real until it happens. And I thought, like, I don't know, maybe it's kind of a bad way to think, but I thought it's in China, it's never going to come here, you know? And there was a lot of people,
Yeah,
even when we were working, there was a lot of people saying, oh, it's on its way, you know? And I was like, ah, no, it's going to be fine. Like, it's going to go over. And then it just really
yeah,
go over. And I think when it started moving to other countries, then that's when it started to get really serious. And you were like, yeah, this is not going away. So, like,
yeah.
on a
So
personal
a bit
level,
of disbelief in the beginning. Sorry.
yeah, it was kind of like just I didn't really believe it was happening, and I actually didn't think it. I believed it was happening, but it's just the severity of it. I didn't think it was that
Yeah,
serious. So when I kind of started seeing how serious it was, and people were dying, then it's like, damn, it's crazy. But then
mm,
even I'm always trying to have a positive outlook and think things are going to get
yeah,
better. But with this
yeah.
situation, it's just been like hit after hit after hit for country after country. So it's been pretty difficult to stay positive throughout, definitely.
Yeah, I think we all went through a moment of disbelief at the beginning, and we thought, as you said, oh, it's in China, it won't spread. And then as we were reading the news, we could see how bad it was getting, especially in
Exactly.
Italy, Europe, and it started to really hit us. I think what was happening at the beginning.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it was Italy first, wasn't it? And then I think deaths in my country in the UK have surpassed Italy by a lot now. So it's
Yeah,
just crazy. It's mad. Yeah, it's terrible, but it's just trying to find a way back to normality now for everybody. It would be nice.
that's right. That's right. Exactly. Yeah, the UK is going through such a terrible time now, isn't it? It's really
Yeah,
shocking.
it's really bad. Like, obviously, all of my social media is connected to the UK. So I kind of feel lucky in a sense to be in Australia right now because in the UK it
Right.
seems like a really kind of depressing time. But
Mm.
yeah, just kind of, but it has shown the good side of the UK as well. Like, I'm just seeing stories
Yeah.
every day of like little kids drawing rainbows, people going outside to clap, and like I don't know, it's kind of bringing the community together rather than kind of separating people, which is quite nice.
That's good. That's good. And how are your family and friends in the UK doing?
Yeah, everyone's good. My grandma has been isolated for like oh, it must be like over 2 months now, 2 to 3 months. My
Oh,
grandma has been by herself, but people go and visit her and stay at her window and stuff. But the rest of my family are all okay, but they're just following the rules, you know. As long as you follow the
yeah,
rules in the UK, I think you're generally going to be okay. But
that's
yeah,
right. That's right. So, Gary, the first reaction was disbelief. And then as we went into lockdown and we started working online, uh, what was the process of accepting this for you? Like, has your attitude changed over the last 2 months? Has it been very different from the beginning to now? Do you feel that you've changed how you feel about it? Yeah.
Definitely feel different. Yeah, at the start, like I said, I didn't really believe it. And I remember there was like one kind of pivotal moment where my gym was still open and I was still going to the gym, and there was gradually getting like to be no people there. And I was like, okay,
Right.
now I'm like one of the only like one or two here now. And there used to be 30 or 40 people. And I came home and I was speaking to my girlfriend and I was like, yeah, we're gonna have to start taking it seriously. Like, so yeah, I think that was just the night, and then we just said, okay, no more going out. We're just gonna stay
Right.
home. That was kind of the moment where it all just kind of hit. It was like,
Yeah.
okay, we're in now forever. We're gonna be
Right.
we'll be like this for a long time.
Like a specific kind of moment, or when you realize, this is happening and this is what we can't really go out much anymore, so we have to stay home. We have to change our lifestyle, let's say.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, I think that's true for everyone. Hello,
Yeah.
everyone. Hi, Ivan. Some other people are joining. Great. Hi, Susanna. And so you mentioned the gym. So I know that you love going to the gym. You love working out. How has that changed for you? How have you managed to keep up with your workout regime?
Well, I kind of have and haven't at the same time, but it kind of goes up and down. And I think that the gym for me
Okay.
is never really about health. It's more like it's kind of like a mental thing. So to go and like and kind of get rid of your frustrations, and you have like some me time.
Yeah.
So I've still been trying to do that at home, but at the same time, you're not really improving yourself. You're just maintaining not being too
Right.
fat. So like I don't know. It's it's kind of like balancing everything out, because if I stay home and I'm not active, whereas I used to get 13 or 14,000 steps every day, now I have on average like 300 steps every day. It's terrible. I walk from here to the kitchen and back.
Right.
So it's like where
I
is that?
think, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Try and
I mean, even our commutes, I mean, I used to do, like, my commute is quite long to work. So,
yeah,
eliminating that from my day is huge, because I have to try and figure out a way of doing that same kind of exercise, walking or movement. Otherwise, we're just sitting in front of the computer all day, It's just
exactly.
rough.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing. It's not so much not going to the gym, but it's that inactivity every day. It's like you don't realize how much. Even when I was a teacher, I would be up and walking around, and yeah,
That's right.
without
Yeah.
that, you really kind of let yourself go a little bit. So, like I said, working out, it's kind of counteracting being
Yeah.
kind of inactive. I think a little.
Yeah, that's a good point that you mentioned about being on campus. We do walk around a lot, and we interact, socialize with students, and now it's all gone on to virtual teaching, so it's completely different, obviously. And by the way, how have you been finding online teaching?
Yeah, it was a challenge at first, but definitely getting used to it now. Definitely getting used to it, but it was really difficult at the start. It was like, what is happening? And even for the students, I think, like the students didn't know what I was going to do, and like I didn't know how the students were going to feel. But as the weeks have progressed, we're kind of getting used to it. No one's in love with online teaching, but people are kind of becoming accepted towards it, I guess. Like we're all accepting it now. And I guess it's not just us. It's like the whole of Australia, the whole of the world is doing it. It's not just, and that's what I've been trying to tell my students every day. Like everyone is doing it, and you have to just try and make the best of it that you can. And try and be the best online class that you can possibly be, because we're not just having a competition with like the other classes in the school. We're having a competition with the world now, and we've got to be like trying to be the best we can be. But it is difficult, and some people have bad days. Even me, sometimes I wake up and I'm like, another day in front of my computer, and my students will feel the same. They'll be like, oh, another day where I've got to log on. I'm not going to see anybody. So yeah. But I know I've found that it helps just to have some kind of interaction every day with people.
Definitely. Yeah, I think it's been great support for students. thinking of the students that I know, you know, maybe not, some of them are not working and not socializing. So having that constant support every morning, you know, continuous, even just talking to someone, the other students and their teachers has just been, I think it's been really good for them. But
Exactly. Well,
hi, Kiko, hi, mate.
Hey.
Yeah.
Some of my students, they had to go and, you know, in our school, they have to take a holiday every now and then. And now the students are
Yeah.
getting around their holiday time, and they're like, I don't want to take it because what am I going to do? Like, so
Right.
they
Exactly.
they just want to
They can't travel yet, and all of that. So it's very surreal. I think. I think sometimes I wake up and I ask myself, is this really happening? Because even after 2 months, even after getting into the routine and change of habits, it's still very surreal. And I wonder, is this still happening?
exactly,
When is it
exactly.
going to?
Well, I guess we are the lucky ones who still are working. I know I feel bad for some of the international students now who just lost their jobs and struggling to
Yeah,
work and find work, and it's really sad, you know. So we are the
it
lucky.
is.
As much as online teaching has its drawbacks, at least we are online teaching, which is the good thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So your lifestyle has changed during this isolation, professionally and personally. How in what other ways has it changed in terms of your general lifestyle, let's say, socializing and habits or hobbies?
Well, definitely socializing's gone down. Luckily, I live with my girlfriend, so I've always got someone I can talk to and someone I can see and be with. But in terms of seeing other friends, it's almost
Yes.
non-existent. Like, I went on Saturday for the first time to visit a friend, and I was just saying, it's so surreal to be in the same room as somebody
Yes.
I haven't seen for so long, you know, and just to hang out. And it was like, I went to that friend's home and we didn't even do anything. We didn't really do anything of any importance, but just being in the presence of
Um,
somebody who, like somebody different is really nice.
that's right.
But in terms of my hobbies, like, I don't know, I've started doing more things, if anything, like giving
Oh,
me time.
great.
Yeah, like, I don't know, because I don't know, when I'm working, every day in Sydney's like hectic, you know, every day is chaos. So I've
Yes.
kind of found
Yes.
myself
Right. Good
trying
point.
new things, and I'm not. You kind of get that bored. You want to try new things and do new things.
That's right.
Yeah, TikTok might be
That's
the
good.
new thing.
Yeah, that brings me to another point that you mentioned, that life in Sydney is pretty crazy, pretty chaotic. It
Yeah,
was before this isolation, this pandemic. Uh, our life is we were used to rush all the time and rush into work, rush home, and consume a lot. You know, buy a lot of things, go out, go to the pub. Uh, do you think that this has kind of forced us to slow down a bit, to find a bit of inner stillness? And how have you found that? Has that been part of your process as well, do you think? Slowing
uh,
down and just finding peace?
I think so. Definitely. Like, I don't know. Every
Mm,
day when we used to be working, you just be so busy. You would leave home at
yeah,
like 7 or 8 in the morning, and you'd be
that's
constantly
right.
working. And some days you'd have to do something after work, and then you'd have social time, and then you wouldn't get home until like 7, 8 at night, and have some food, and then you go to bed, and then you just restart the next day. Whereas now you've kind of got time to, I don't know, almost do what you want, you know, which is quite nice.
Yeah,
Like I've been trying to get a tan. That's been my quarantine goal. So every morning
a
on the
tan.
balcony, yeah, I don't know if you can see,
Great.
but yeah, every morning, 20 minutes on the balcony just to try and get like something. Because otherwise I would just leave home, go to a building, stay in a building all day, come back when it's dark.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
been trying to get a
Yeah,
bit of,
funnily enough,
yeah,
it's like we have a little bit more freedom, if that makes sense, because our days are obviously we're working online, but we have a little bit more freedom in managing them. Whereas before we had that hectic schedule, we had to run everywhere, you know, and now we have more time to choose what to
yeah,
do with our time, I would say. After work, obviously,
exactly.
people, and on the weekend. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I completely agree. It's just, it's given, although there's been bad points of isolation and quarantining, I think the good points far outweigh the
Yes.
bad. It's, it's kind of giving you like you can almost do what you want now. And I think when people are given that time, they panic because they're like, wait,
That's right.
there's no one telling me what to do. Like, so what should I be doing? But when you kind of get over that
Yeah,
panic, you just like you start, I don't know, maybe watching that movie that you haven't watched for a long time, or like cooking that meal that you always wanted to. Then it starts to become a little bit more enjoyable, you know?
that's right. Yeah, I think for me in the beginning, I was a little bit paralyzed in the sense I was thinking, out of my regime, out of my routine, how do I manage that? But
Yeah.
it's taken all this time to get into it and to really calm down and realize that I can use this time in a good way and not just be upset and stressed and,
No,
try and think positive of how we can use this time because it's unprecedented and everyone's going through it the same thing. So,
I completely
yeah,
agree. It's just once you don't panic and find a way to utilize your time, then it gets a little bit easier. And
that's
I
right.
actually bought a diary, and it's like every day you have to write down what you're gonna do and like
Oh,
all your goals for the day, and then at the end of each night you have to write down what you achieved, what you did, and what you thought were the good points, and what you're looking forward to the next day. And that's really helped to like,
amazing.
yeah, really helped to like stay consistent. And I don't know, it's kind of difficult sometimes when you're saying what are you going to look forward to tomorrow when you know your day's going to
Right.
be the same. Like, what you're going to do.
Yeah,
It's like I'm going to look forward going for that one walk to get a takeaway coffee. But
yeah.
I think it makes you appreciate the little things a little bit more. So if anyone's watching, I would
I
definitely
think so.
recommend writing things down, writing goals down, and that really helps people.
That sounds great. So that's helped you to keep busy and writing down is always something that helps us to focus uh, at work and also in our personal life, I would say. So that's very inspiring.
Yeah, it definitely
Well
helped me.
done.
I didn't think it would, but it really has. It really has. What
Yeah.
do you?
Hey Delvine.
Oh,
Hey
Dalvin's here.
Delvine's joined us.
Like,
And a good friend of mine in Rome, like Lena. Ciao. So I might speak Italian every now and then.
anything translate.
Great. So this is really interesting. Yes, I would say that it's been a learning process, I think, and adapting. And I think that everyone has been amazing. All our colleagues and students that have adapted to this online teaching
Yeah,
and being at home, stuck at home. Our students are so used to going out and socializing and traveling. And I
yeah.
really admire their adaptability, their flexibility to this. And they've always been positive, about it. And that's been really inspiring, even on days that I've been feeling down or feeling sad and they've cheered me up, So
No,
it's a
I
good
completely,
interaction.
I completely agree with you. Like, there's some mornings where you wake up and I don't know, especially when the weather's bad in Sydney, I feel a little bit worse.
Yes,
And it's like the weather
that's
really
right.
changes you, and then you'll log on and you'll see the friendly faces, and somebody will have a joke or something funny to say, and it's just
That's right.
instantly it cheers everyone up. And even though you're not speaking to people in person, you're speaking to
Yeah.
someone, and yeah, it does make you feel better. And I completely understand. The students have been so positive throughout. Sometimes they have their days where they're feeling a little bit down, or like, but it's only one, and then everyone else will try and cheer that person up. So
Yeah.
it's very much a
And
community. And they'll never
community, like a small family, definitely, I would say so as well.
I
So
agree.
welcome everyone who's joining. Great. So another question I wanted to ask you, Gary, is
Hmm.
as restrictions are loosening up in Australia and Sydney, it's not so still in many countries, obviously, they're still going through a very hard time, but we can, I think, start to look forward to slowly coming out of isolation and slowly returning to normal, because I'm not sure if life will be normal for a long
Yeah.
time. But what's one thing that you would keep once life goes back to normal? One thing that you've started doing or you've learnt. So even when life goes back to normal, you would actually keep doing this. And what is one thing that you would throw out,
All right.
stop doing?
Yeah. Well, I think the one thing, there's a lot of things I would want to keep. I've actually been more connected with family since this started,
Right.
because I think, like I said, when you're so busy, you kind of don't find the time to make that phone call or like get.
Yes, that's true.
I know you're from Italy, so you'll probably find it the same. Um, and
Yes.
especially time difference. But I've been
Mm.
trying my best to make the effort, like every 1 or 2 days, to call somebody and make sure they're okay. But I definitely want to keep doing that. I want to keep trying new things, like new recipes, new ways of working out, new ways of keeping fit, new ways of being creative. But probably
Yeah.
the main thing I would want to keep is being able to be positive when other people maybe aren't feeling as positive. I know
Very.
I spend
Yeah.
a lot of my days trying to cheer people up, and I think it kind of does
Mm.
take a lot. And I think that's the way I deal with negative situations, is to try and forget about myself and try and make other people feel better. I know
That's
that's
great. Yeah. That's
definitely
great.
what I've been trying to do with my students, and sometimes with my girlfriend, and sometimes with my family. But
Yeah.
definitely trying to keep that. One thing I'd throw away is just home workouts and Nespresso machine. I'm sick. Like Sydney has such good coffee. I want my lattes back, and I want my gym back. There's the only two things.
Not asking. Yeah, I know. It's not asking for a lot, is it? I mean,
No,
simple pleasures.
yeah, one latte and my gym. That's all I really need.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I don't know. Probably I'll try not to go on social media as much as well when all this is over.
Oh,
I think,
that's another point.
yeah,
Yeah.
now we kind of need it to stay connected. But I think when all this
Mm.
is, I'll really try and kind of restrict myself from using it as much, because I
Okay.
don't know,
Yeah.
I'll try and be more grateful for being out and being able to do things rather than going somewhere and being on my phone and being on Instagram or being on Snapchat or something, you
Right.
know? Yeah.
Yeah. So human relationships. You think that this has given you more of a sense of, when we start going out with our friends and seeing our family again, really appreciating those moments where
Yeah.
I'm not saying we took it for granted before, but sometimes, you can, as you said, calling our families overseas. I also have my family. Most of my family lives in Italy, so
Yeah.
I've appreciated being in touch with them more, and I think that this is something that we can try to take with us
Yeah.
after this pandemic is
No,
over.
I definitely think so. Yeah. The main thing is trying to be there instead of digitally be there when you're not
That's
in
a good
quarantine.
point.
That's a very big thing. Yeah.
That's a good point, absolutely. And so you mentioned your connections. I'm interested in talking about connections with our friends and family
Yeah.
around the world, as you have a lot of family in, oh well, all your family I suppose is in the UK,
Yeah.
and friends as well. How have your relationships changed? Now you mentioned you call them a lot. Have you been doing anything else with them, or keeping in touch
Yeah.
in a different way, maybe?
I mean, I created like a family quiz, which you do every other Saturday night, which is quite nice. So we have like a big
Wow,
trivia night, and that's across four countries. My dad lives in Bahrain, my cousin lives in the USA, we live in Sydney, and the rest of my family live in the UK. So we've got five
amazing.
households across four continents. So it's
That
everyone looking forward
that's
to it.
incredible.
We have to do it at 10:30 p.m. here. The Americans have to do it at like 8:30 in the morning. People in the Middle East have to be in like the afternoon, and then it's pretty cool how we can all be on at the same time, and it keeps us connected. And
That's right.
we never did that. We never did that before isolation. And I think
Yeah.
that's positive, that we're all able to sort of
Absolutely.
all
That sounds like an achievement organizing it as well, getting it all ready to
definitely.
go.
On my Facebook, I actually made like a trailer for it. I don't know if you saw it, like a big,
I think I did, yes.
yeah, like a big
That's
like dramatic
awesome.
scene trailer. But yeah, that's another example, just doing something that you wouldn't usually do, of being creative and
Yeah.
making people laugh, which is quite good. And those quizzes, even they've got more creative as they've went on. We've had like countdown rounds, we've had like music rounds, so it's making them be creative as well, which is good.
Yeah. Good on you, mate.
Thanks,
Sounds really creative. I think it's really gotten our creativity coming out because we've been forced to think of other ways of having fun and socializing and
yeah,
apart from video calls and WhatsApp and all of that kind of thing.
definitely.
Okay.
Yeah,
Great,
definitely.
great.
It's yeah, it's been a bit crazy, but I actually think overall isolation's probably brought out the best in people, even if they can't see it now. I think afterwards
Mm,
they will see the good side more than the bad side. At least I hope they will.
I hope so too. Yes, there's been a lot of good things happening. I've heard a lot of stories of people helping each other. I mean, even in Australia with international students,
Exactly.
I've heard of like food deliveries and all
Yeah.
sorts of things to help each other out in the community. So that's been great. By any chance, do you have any funny anecdotes about the last few months? Anything funny that's happened or
Um,
interesting that?
Trying to think. My life is pretty boring right now, but there will be something that's happening. Give me 5 seconds. I'll think of something.
Sure,
Um,
no worries.
what's happened? It's been funny. Oh, my girlfriend tries to get me involved with TikTok sometimes. That's been quite
Oh,
hilarious.
TikTok.
I don't know if
Oh, tell me about TikTok. I
yeah,
love TikTok.
TikTok's
Yeah.
been quite good. Um, what else have I been doing? I've been taking my mum on trips around Harris Farm and Woolworths because she's never seen an Australian supermarket. So that's been quite fun.
Oh,
So in the evenings
so like,
when I go to the supermarket, like just to pick up some milk or something, I'll take her around like
right.
this, and then I've got my headphones on, and she'll be like, "Okay, I want to see what flowers they've got in Australia." So I'll have to go to the flowers and show her what they've got. So that's been quite fun. Yeah,
That's unique. Wow. So
it
she's
is
been having a virtual tour of Aussie supermarkets.
exactly. She's amazed by watermelons, like because in the UK we don't really have that much watermelon. So she's like, "Oh my God, there's so
Oh,
much watermelon in Australia. It's crazy."
great. Great. That's hilarious. So, what kind of message, if you were to give a message to friends around the world listening or to your students, what kind of message would you give them?
Just stay positive. It's not going to last forever, and I think everybody is going to have bad days, and everybody's going to feel some days
Yeah.
like they don't want to do anything, and they just want to kind of stay in bed and be sad. And I think they have to realize that that's okay, that's fine, but as long as that doesn't last forever, there are going to be better days ahead, and I don't know, especially for me, like I said, I got that diary and that
Yes.
writing down goals. And some days you write down that you kind of didn't really achieve anything. And I think it's okay to not
Okay.
achieve anything on any given day. And I don't
That's
think
right.
that there has to be so much pressure for you to wake up and think, okay, I have to do a home workout. I have to go out and do something. I have to create this Instagram post because some days people just don't
Yeah.
want to. So as long as people know that it's not going to last forever and they know it's okay to feel sad some days and there's better times ahead, that's that's what I
Yeah.
would say.
That's true. That reminds me of something that I've noticed is a lot of, these posts on social media about achieving and overachieving and be positive and do, hustle,
Yeah,
hustle, hustle. But sometimes it's not about that. You have up and down days, and it's not all about achieving things during this isolation period. It's also about focusing on you and making sure that you're okay. So it's
yeah,
not just every day you have to do 100 million things. So that's
exactly.
a good point.
Yeah, taking every day as it comes has really helped me, and I think like not looking too far into the future that helps as well. Um,
That's yeah.
I think we take every week as it comes. If that sounds like reasonable. Yeah, because if you look into thinking, oh my God, in July, what's the world going to be like? Nobody knows. You
That's
can't.
right.
You can't. There's literally no way anybody could predict that. But if you look into next week, you can think, okay, next week, it's probably not going to be that different from now. So what am I going to achieve, and what am I going to do by next week? I think that's the best way to look
Yeah.
at it. Otherwise, if you start thinking about, I'm not going to be able to do this in July, I'm not going to be able to do this by the end of the year, then that's when it really starts to
Mm,
make you feel sad. So
that's
little
right. Yeah.
small victories every day. That's what I
Little
think.
things. Yeah, exactly. Thinking day by day. What can I do? How can I
Exactly.
look after myself, look after my family, and keep busy. I think stay
Yeah.
positive as much as possible. Obviously, we're all going to have days where we're feeling low and sad. Obviously, if you read all this news all the time,
Yeah.
and it can take you away from your focus. But
Exactly. Well,
definitely
that's
trying to stay positive. Yeah.
one thing I've been
Yeah.
trying to do
Very.
with my students is every morning I give them 3 good news stories to start their day, and that's been ever since
Oh,
I started quarantine. I do that every morning. So 3 good news stories. I don't know if my students really like, I don't know. I don't know if they want to hear them. I don't know if I'm doing it for me or I'm doing it for them, but
Yeah.
it's a good way to start the day. More trying to avoid negative media because there's too much bad news in the world right now.
Yeah, well, I think you're great. I know that at work, Gary and I work together, and you've always been really positive and
Uh,
enthusiastic. I know that every time we've had issues or there's been problems, you've always been able to look at the bright side. So I think that's great that you've kept that up, that attitude.
I try
Yeah.
to try to. It is difficult sometimes when this kind of situation happens, but yeah, someone's got to be positive and try and keep other people. So I try to. I'm quite lucky as well. My girlfriend's quite positive. Yeah,
Oh,
we
that's
get
good.
so yeah. It's it's been good. I think
Great.
my isolation has definitely been more positive than negative, I think.
Good,
Wayne,
great. Oh, I think that's Wayne. Hey, Wayne.
hey Wayne.
And a friend of mine from Italy, Alessandro, and I think a few others have joined. Welcome, everybody. Today we're talking about isolation, and I've started this project called A Conversation in Isolation, which is an idea of trying to talk to people around the world and see how they're coping with isolation and what have they learned and what can come out of this unprecedented time. So thank you, Gary, for being my first guest today, by the way.
Man, loving it. Gives me opportunity to vent to somebody, to say things. Good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But,
Hi, Pippa. And so I have another few questions, but
yeah.
so if we think about, I mentioned at the beginning that Australia's loosening restrictions. Do you think life will go back to normal eventually, or do you think that our lifestyle has changed in a way that will make it very difficult to go back to that busy, hectic, crazy lifestyle? Do you think
Um,
that it will?
I mean, I do think it's going to go back to normal eventually. Like, I think just the way humans are, it has to go back to normal. And I think
Yeah,
when big global problems have happened, we've always went back to normality. Like if you look at even like world wars, they probably would have been thinking it's. I know it's not comparable, but it's still a global problem, and people would be thinking, will life ever be the same again? And in my
true.
opinion, it definitely will. But I think people will also take with them like some of the things that they've learned from coronavirus, and hopefully people will be more ready. I don't know if you saw that like TED talk from Bill Gates like 5 years ago, where
Oh,
he was talking
yes.
about how the world is not ready for a pandemic. I feel like
Yeah.
now, if another one happens in 20 years, hopefully we would be ready. So that might be one good thing. But I hope life returns to normal. However, I saw on the news last week that the Twitter boss said that the Twitter workers could work from home forever. And I just thought that's
Really?
yeah, and I thought that is just not the world that I would want to live in. Like to have to
Right.
work from home with no interaction forever. I hope I don't know, it might be good for them, but I wouldn't like to live in a world where everyone's just on computers at home, you know. I don't know.
Yeah, it's for life seems a bit extreme. I think that definitely there are a lot of pros to working from home and a lot of some cons as well. But
Yeah.
for the rest of your life, it would seem I think a bit extreme. Probably, maybe there could be like a halfway
Yeah,
um, routine, maybe a
exactly.
couple of days. Or, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
I hope we as a world we don't lose our like connective way that we have, you know, like I hope people can
yeah.
still like hug in the street when they haven't seen each other for a while. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't like to go the whole of my life with just being able to fist bump or elbow touch, you know?
That's,
It would be like,
that's right.
it would be pretty
It's
depressing.
really it's 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 really changed our way of socializing, and I think that a problem that might happen in the future is that as we come out of lockdown around the world and cases calm down, and people start to get better, that we might be a bit afraid, at the beginning.
Yeah,
There might be a bit of paranoia in
agree.
hugging people again, greeting them, and that's what I'm afraid of a little bit, I think.
Yeah,
Um,
I completely agree. Like, it's even when I went to see my friend on Saturday, it was like we were kind of hesitant, like how should we greet each other? Should we like
Yeah,
we always kind of do this and then go in for the hug, but this
yeah,
time it was like friendly and it was like we didn't talk about it, but we both kind of knew this is the new normal, and it is a bit
yeah,
awkward. I think that awkwardness will subside eventually, but yeah, it can be pretty
yeah.
awkward when you meet people now. And
Good word.
when we go back to work eventually, it's like how do we greet students? How do we greet
That's
colleagues?
right.
It's all going to be a little bit awkward, but everyone's going through the
I
same
think so.
thing. So.
That's true. Hi, Sylvia. It's another good friend of mine in Italy, in Rome. Yeah, I think that I remember even the last few weeks where we were told, do not greet students with a handshake, and that was already
It was really
absurd,
weird.
for us because we were used to doing that. So
Yeah,
it's been a whole reshuffle of our
it really
socializing and relationships. Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
has.
definitely.
It's really weird. Yeah, especially with students. It's like you kind of, I don't know, I think you've always been a little bit like me, that we get kind of close to our students and they're more like friends than
Yeah,
anything. So it's it is weird when you can't, like, I don't know, give them like a handshake in the morning or say, yo, how you doing? And it is a
pat
little
on the
bit
back. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. And it's just, it has made it a little bit awkward when you meet people again. I guess when you're online teaching, it's not so bad because you can't really handshake anyway. But
that's right.
when you go back to that life, it is going to be a little bit awkward. Definitely, definitely. But I think it's not going to be like that forever, in my opinion. But I don't know anything, so no idea. I hope this time next year, I hope we can say, do you remember how bad coronavirus time was? And it's like a bit
That's
similar.
right.
I hope.
And look back and think, wow, we made it through. We made it through to the other side.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So this has been fantastic. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, good, isn't it? It's interesting. Funny. And I bet when you
Yeah,
do
I
it
love.
again, you're gonna meet people who have such different, like, perspectives and ideas to me. Like, I'm
Yeah.
just one little Englishman in Sydney. Like, imagine if you speak to someone.
No. Yeah.
No, but if you speak to someone who's been right in the heart of it in either Italy or the
Yeah.
UK, somewhere in Europe or in Asia, then they're gonna have a very different opinion to me. We've been quite lucky in Australia.
Yeah.
They got ahead of it pretty quick, So
Yeah.
yeah,
I think we've been quite lucky. I mean, it's obviously we've had some terrible cases and stories in Australia too, but thinking
yeah,
of Italy, and I'm thinking of all my friends and family in Italy who I'm in touch
yeah,
with quite a lot, during the week, and I'm always a bit concerned, a bit anxious, but I think that things will start to calm down there as well. But I want to say hello to all my friends in Italy who joined.
Hey.
Ciao.
Now,
Thinking of you all.
I should have learned some Italian for coming on here today.
To prepare.
Yeah, I can't speak anything. Sorry. But yeah, I imagine.
You can say ciao.
Ciao, ciao, Bella. What's Bella?
Bella, belli. Yeah, that's it.
Bella. Yeah, that's all I can say. Yeah.
Well, great. Well, thank you very much, Garry. This has been really interesting for me to have a chat with you about what's been happening, and I hope that you've enjoyed this conversation in isolation.
Yeah, it's been really fun. Really fun. Do you know who your next guest is or not? Have you worked out who's
I
on
do.
next?
I have a few candidates that I've been in touch with.
All right.
And they're not in Australia, so that's going to be very interesting. They're in other countries, so
Nice.
I'm going to get that organised. I'm hoping to meet and chat to one person a week and do an episode every
That's really
week.
Well, when
So
you
we
become
go.
a star celebrity interviewer, like, try not to forget about me and try and give me some of your wealth, because we are colleagues. Don't forget,
You never know, right?
I was where it all started. So yeah,
That's right. Number one.
exactly. But my main point, stay positive, write down your goals every day, and yeah, it's not going to last forever. I think those are the three things that I wanted to highlight in this.
Thank you, Garry. So what's your Instagram if anyone would like to follow
It is
your page?
G.R.Dawson. if anyone wants to follow me.
Okay.
You can
I'm
see
going
all
to
of
write it.
my selfies.
I'll try and write on the chat because this is all new to me as well. G.R. Dawson, there we go. So Garry Dawson from Sydney, originally from England, has joined us today for my first episode of Conversation in Isolation.
No
And
problem.
I hope everyone's enjoyed it.
All right. Take it easy, Sonia.
Great.
Thank you.
Hope to see you soon
Yeah,
in person.
well, let's hope so. Let's hope so. See you soon, Sonia.
Okay. Take care. Thank you, Garry. Thanks again.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye, everyone. Okay, so I'm going to end this. How do I? Yes.